Well, it appears that the Helldivers are not getting a lore-rich enough or propaganda-riddled enough storyline coming from the development team at Arrowhead Game Studios. So much so that yet again, in another time period of life, we have managed to find a storyline be generated by the divers, or in this time, the beaches. This has been an interesting one as articles are writing up left, right and centre about this notorious planet of Seychelles Beach that is seeming to be attacked by their Helldivers, making in for yet another Malevelon Creek-styled storyline. This one is apparently the only one that we've really seen this year with the same comparables, and they give us an interesting breakdown. Are you guys diving on Seychelles Beach? Are you guys making sure that you keep it fighting until the beaches dry up? Well, this one's an interesting one. We're going to give you guys the full breakdown of what's happening over on the Illuminate sector right now. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful like button and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated as we're moving closely towards 150,000 subscribers, which is a number that I never really thought I'd ever be able to read out. So a massive thank you for those of you guys who have been paying attention to the channel and keeping up to date with all the news that's come from the game. But today we're breaking down an article coming from Games Radar that holds the statement of the beaches will dry before the Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 players made Seychelles Beach the new Malevelon Creek, complete with propaganda and a stunned response from Arrowhead. And this one has been a very interesting one. Although very insignificant, I think that's pretty much what leads to the best storylines that we've seen inside of the game that have been generated by not the development team, but the players themselves. They go on to state right here that every time the Helldivers 2 community gets stuck on a difficult planet, some Hellboomer will reckon it reminds them of Malevelon Creek, a famously unnecessary battle so protracted that developer Arrowhead ended up canonizing it after millions upon millions of democratic soldiers were voluntarily put through the automaton food processor. But with their latest Creek successor, I think that Helldivers 2 actually had a pretty good point. Seychelles Beach is maybe the closest that we've gotten all year. It even has propaganda. At various points in the past few weeks and to varying extremes, thousands and even tens of thousands of Helldivers 2 players have dogpiled Seychelles Beach, a frontline planet in the Illuminate front. Why? I truly, from the pit of my gut, do not know. Maybe they wanted some beachfront property. But this is what leads to some of the biggest stories inside of Helldivers 2, and we actually write up our own story narrative. I think that's the beauty of what it is that the game genuinely holds. It holds a community that are probably better storytellers than the development team themselves, and Seychelles Beach seems to really be on the same wavelength as Malevelon Creek, or at least at the point of vision. This has been an interesting one indeed. They state right here that this, I think, is the key ingredient that too many would-be Creek doppelgangers have missed: sheer bloody-minded stubbornness. Malevelon Creek was a logistical disaster born of herd mentality, overpowered robots, aggressive propaganda, and senseless aggression, like sheep chasing each other off a cliff. It was extremely difficult and completely pointless and painfully slow as liberations go. It was also actively derailed adjacent major orders by siphoning off the troops. Now, this has been the only one that I cannot really agree with, as we have been really hammering in on those major orders as of late, meaning that even though we're still completing major orders left, right and center, thousands and even tens of thousands of people seem to be diving over on Seychelles Beach with no real reason as to why. Not only that, but the propaganda seems to be heading up all over Reddit, Discord, and so many other social platforms, with the beaches actually becoming a bit of a trending point. It states right here, stop me if it sounds familiar, but Seychelles Beach has not come up in any recent major orders, at least not as an objective. But in September, High Command did acknowledge the efforts of a small but fervent cohort of Helldivers who had reclaimed one of the beach's cities, New Alexandria. Maybe they were hoping there'd be a sweet liberty there. While the cities itself bear no particular strategic significance, the single-minded focus of these Helldivers is nevertheless an inspiration to all, the report read. Now, this report came at the tail end of the Operation Gloom Tide, which tasked Helldivers with defending Hellmire for the millionth time this year and retaking terminid planets like Gakrux while carving out territory inside of the Gloom. That is to say, the other side of the solar system, far from the Illuminate and very dedicated beaches. The beaches didn't let orders deter them, though. Sure, a new major order targeting a different planet deeper in the Illuminate front has now seen beaches counts decline sharply, according to Helldivers 2 companion app map, but thousands are still at it. The beach is set at around 84% liberated at the time of writing, and thousands of beaches are hungry for that final 16%. Will we manage to actually get the completion into it? Well, they seem to be diving around the outside, as Joel has been taking us everywhere bar the one planet that people seem to be focusing on inside of the game in between major orders. It's pretty much like a renown movement right now, where as a major order finishes and we sit in that little bit of a limbo moment, everybody seems to be diving over on Seychelles Beach to show their support to the outstanding beaches that are currently fighting out. As different Reddit users have stated, we've been fighting on this planet for at least 21 days, and it's just going back and forth like the creek, but concrete. They've made other statements such as one day the beach will be free and the beaches will dry before the Helldivers do. To recap, though, they've got the beach propaganda, major order defiance, strategically inconsequential territory, and official acknowledgement from Arrowhead that this player coordinating strategy is definitely happening. For once, I think you could actually argue that we have a new Malevelon Creek on our hands. But do you guys agree with that? Do we think that the Seychelles Beach battle itself is anything close to what we experienced on Malevelon Creek? I mean, at the point of Malevelon Creek actually being a fight, we had no idea how much of a historical moment it would be, and we had no idea of the way that it would actually affect and become canonized. Malevelon Creek was one of those battles which, although we all remember it, at the time, a lot of people genuinely didn't even go over there, now claiming to be Creekers and wearing that godforsaken Creek cape. This time round, we're now on the Illuminate, and especially with different planets taking such a big story narrative such as Calypso, could the Seychelles Beach battle actually be recorded in Helldivers canon and lore? We'll have to wait and see, and Helldivers all over the globe are kind of hoping that we can see another thing take its place a lot like it did way back when in the days of the Malevelon Creek. Where are you diving at the moment, Helldiver? I know full well where I've been, and we're going to be heading on over and hopefully being a part of what it is that is writing history for Helldivers alike and all Super Earth citizens around the galaxy. There's never a dull moment when it comes to being a Helldiver, and the game itself, although in pretty bad stead as far as the performance and operations of the game itself goes, it's nice to know that Helldivers can still lean in and really push in their own story narrative to make the game exactly what they want. I mean, after all, it truly is the beauty of being a Helldiver, and it truly is the beauty of what made the game absolutely great. I want to thank you guys for being here and just witnessing something new to the channel, as we want to try and get in those extra uploads where we talk about different things related to the game and go over different articles and how it is that the mainstream media are actually viewing us Helldivers, as it seems that now becoming a Helldiver is probably one of the most important things in gaming history. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.